We go along the row here, we see the parents of Tim Henman. There's Jane and Anthony, himself a fine sportsman, and at the back Dean Goldfine, who is the coach, and you heard him probably just now, the coach of Todd Martin. So this is going to be a great test for both men, I think. Todd Martin must realize that with all the carnage of the seeds in the lower half of the draw, he alone stands as a seeded representative at number 13, and therefore should, on form, be the man to go through to the final. But of course, life isn't that easy. And although he has played pretty darn well here this year, nothing is certain on an occasion like this. So a lot of pressure on him, and a lot of American support, as always here. And I'm sure they'll be pretty vocal in their support on American Independence Day of their hero of the day, Todd Martin. So he's had a pretty impressive route to this quarterfinal. Just the one set lost against Johansson of Sweden, who is another of these fast improving young players who I think will have a very, very bright future.
1 minute.
And he, of course, had to play that out on court 6. That wasn't easy for a man who's used to playing on the show courts. And Henman's passage to this quarterfinal, famously a victory over Yevgeny Kafelnikov, the number 5 seed. That was the key that opened the door. 7-5 in the 5th, and everybody surely knows by now that he was 3-5 down, 2 match points down, and served those 2 aces. Then 2 Britons. So you could say, yes, he did have a kind draw, but he took advantage of it. And that Sampson match was delayed overnight. He had to resume at 5-all in the second set, lost it, and that could have been awkward, but the way he pulled himself together there was very impressive, as was his progress against a man he should have beaten, Luke Milligan, and did. And against Gustafsson, I thought he played quite wonderfully well. Gustafsson, a man of greater experience, could easily have upset the run of Henman in the 4th round. But Henman served well again, took his chances, crowded into the net, which I think, Mark Cox, is what he'll be doing today. It's really whether he's going to be serving well enough and is able to get his racket on Todd Martin's serve.
Yes, and of course Todd Martin has a very fine backhand return, but Tim Henman's assets are really quite considerable. One tends to focus a little bit negatively on what he doesn't have in a way, but he has an awful lot. His serve is, we said, improving. He has superb ground strokes, which are improving almost by the day, but at the net he had very, very quick hands, very confident at the net. He moves instinctively, he anticipates very well, and absolutely he needs to get on top of the net. He's got to prevent Martin dominating him from the net.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Henman won the toss and elected to serve.
So it will be Henman to open this quarterfinal. Britain expects.
Let second service. Love 15.
An impressive start here by Martin. There's the trusty backhand hit with pinpoint accuracy.
15-30.
Very calmly done by Martin there. Difficult low ball, but all he wanted to do was to put the pressure on Henman by putting his imposing figure at the net. It worked.
(30-40).
There's a little clue about his improvement and calmness. You always look for a good first serve. When your break point down, he found it.
Advantage Henman. First game.
Well, Mark Cox, what a wonderful test to face and come through in the very opening game. He did it magnificently.
15-40, 2 break points down, and to hold a first game like that always puts you in the right frame of mind. It has a dual effect, I think. It certainly gives the player who has in successful confidence, but it also sows the seed, if you like, in the mind of the opponent that a chance has been missed at a very important part of the match. The first few games of any match are absolutely crucial to setting the tempo, and Todd Martin started so well with 2 wonderful returns, and then Henman was up to the task. And the decisive factor with Henman there, coming back from 15-40, was the quality of his serve. He got his first serve in, absolutely important against the American.
Todd Martin to serve.
Oh!
15 love.
Well, it was a fine volley right on the line here, if you watch it. And the bounce was low.
$15 all. $30-15. 40-15. Martin.
Good serve.
One game on.
So both men have come through the initial test very impressively.
Love 15.
Of course, both men had to reorganize their day, starting so early. Henman was out practicing with Jamie Delgado and Todd Martin with Malavia Washington.
30-15.
A typical Martin point, the early taken blocked return, allowing him a chance to come in and finish the job on a volley.
.30. Henman leads 2-1, first set.
And there was a nasty moment in that game when he had to play a very difficult first volley, and he hit it to within an inch or two of the line, and he did it again on the last point. He's playing well already.
What I like about this is he's varying his game there. He decides to stay back behind the wide kick serve, which opened up the space down to the forehand. And that's exactly what he's got to do. He's got to try to move Martin around. And this is the forehand. Look how he gets to the side of the ball, whips that racket head through, moving forward, shot down the line, which he's played so effectively throughout the tournament, that forehand. But Todd Martin is a very big man, 6'6", we know that, and obviously an imposing figure on the court. And invariably, bigger men do not move as well as smaller men, and that's exactly what Tim Henman's got to do. He's got to try to take Martin out both sides. So a good start for Tim Henman.
Love. 15 all. $15.30.
And at this moment, he's got to take advantage of the fact that Martin is only getting 13% of his first serves in, and do to the second serve what he just did on the last point.
$30 all.
Well, that was a definite chance missed.
$40.30.
Well, Henman is not making Martin pay for his lack of success on first serve. You've got to take these chances. Sampras was in the same bother yesterday. He had umpteen chances against Krajcik on about the second service game and failed to break.
Returns the second serve well, and again gets into position to hoist that forehand just in. Looked as though he was going cross-court, but directed it down the line. A little jump to see whether it did hit the line, and it did. Deuce.
Advantage Henman.
Drama here. Overruled by the linesman. Martin will have a word.
But you gotta say it, right?
Well, he is one of the gentlemen of tennis, is Martin, and he will need to be, suffering this surprise, called out by the linesman, overruled by Jerry Armstrong. Break point.
Deuce.
Exactly the same as Henman. When in trouble, good first serve in.
Let's first service. Advantage Martin.
And it must be very frustrating for him at the moment, because the chances are there for the taking and he's unable to take them.
Game Martin. Two games all.
Still only serving at 27% of first serves in, and that was the moment when Henman had his chance to break the Martin serve. He didn't take it.
Thirty love. Forty love. Henman leads 3 games to 2, first set.
Well, you've been hearing us talking a lot about the improved service of Tim Henman. There was positive evidence.
Yes, a super game from his point of view, and he's serving particularly well percentage-wise on first serve. He's Tim Henman, and there really is a contrast, and this really indicates an opportunity in a way missed by Tim Henman. Henman's 72% so far, which is pretty high for him. He's been down to 55% for the tournament. But look at Todd Martin, 27%. Really just 1 in 4 first serves into play. But interestingly, the most important point, he put in the best serve that he's hit. Good first serve. He's a great competitor, but it rather indicates that the opportunities for Henman have been there, but he's not been able to take them.
Time.
He's a very solid player, very likable gentleman, this man, and unflappable. Had a doubtful call for him on his serve, and he was not perturbed at all. Two, 3.
Fifteen love. All.
One feels that his serving is only going to improve, so Henman must take his chances, and did so there, at least making him play a second serve.
Thirty 15. Oh! 30 all.
Well, one can only assume that the power of these second serves is the problem at the moment. Mistimed that one. Got to it a little late.
Deuce.
Rather ironic that he gets a first serve in and Tim hits one of his best returns.
Advantage Henman.
So for the second time he has a chance to break Martin's serve.
Deuce. Advantage Martin. Game Martin. Three games on.
Well, even though he's serving by his standards poorly, the pace of those second serves is too much at the moment for Henman. And the surprise, quite a lot to the forehand. So the battle is truly joined at 3-all.
15 love. All.
A little gusty now. Won't make it any easier for the server.
.30-15. Let for 6. Out! 40-15.
Oh, would you believe it? It's spitting with rain. Let's just hope it will be no more than this.
Game Henman. Ball change, please. New balls. Henman leads 4 games to 3. First set.
Well, now the weather is certainly a factor we've all got to watch carefully today. It's one of those days when the clouds may or may not deposit their contents on us. And yesterday we had those miserable moments of just tiny drizzle, enough to send the players from the court, and it stopped just now. And at the moment, one of these close contests, Mark, how important in a match of this sort, which means so much to both men, is the first set?
Well, psychologically, I think it is important, though with the inclement weather, that is negated a little bit, simply because the players over the last few days have been on and off so frequently that they have to reconcentrate all the time. And as soon as you go off, it's almost as though when you come back, you start the match afresh again.
Time.
But conditions really are very difficult out here because the wind is blustery. In fact, that's probably a good thing because it's keeping the rain off. But I think the difficulty of the conditions is contributing to quite a lot of mistakes by both players. So new balls, it's Martin to serve.
Love 15. $15 all.
So here's a man who you will recognise, Roger Taylor, the last man from Britain to be a quarter-finalist at Wimbledon. In fact, he was a semi-finalist that year, 1973. The third time he'd appeared in a Wimbledon semi-final.
$30-15.
Solid point here by Martin. Good deep serve. Henman struggles really to control it, but look at the placement of the volley. Moves in, and a very solid, firm hit. Got down rather well to that. Sort of return that Henman needs at the feet to get Martin really to bend, and that volley dropped short and allowed the pass.
Game, Martin. Four games all.
So ominously for British supporters, the Martin serve is improving, up now to 48% of first serves in, that is.
Love 15. $15 all.
Well, I think there was method there in it sliced back and trying to keep the ball low to a big man, make him play as many low balls as possible.
30-15. All. $40-30. Henman leads 5-4, first set.
And Henman saving himself there with two fine first serves. Match rather like a Davis Cup tie, this, Mark.
Yes, there is a real atmosphere, a tense atmosphere, I think, arguably around the centre court. And there's a lot at stake for both players. Tim Henman emerging onto the international world scene, really making a name for himself, and his opponent, Todd Martin, really has also a great opportunity. If he's going to make his mark, he needs to do it in this tournament. And David Felgate, who's done such a fine job with Tim Henman now, what would he be saying? I think the most important thing for him is to keep positive, to go for his shots. And both players actually are missing quite a lot of shots at the moment by the smallest of margins.
Time.
And this is Todd Martin's coach, Dean Goldfine. Well, I think he's probably quite happy with the way Todd Martin's playing. As this match progresses, he's getting more and more solid. And this is the problem that Henman has got. He needs to put this man away in the first set. And there's no time like the present, because Martin's serving to stay in the first set.
Love 15. $15 all.
Well, the ball from a tall man does bounce up higher. Have to play that practically at head height. One of the things you can do, of course, is to stand in closer. Then the speed of the serve may be too much. He's standing well back at the moment.
Well, the key to the point is the return. It's a lifeless return, and then Martin, not able to do much, gave the opening for Henman to make the pass. A chance, 15-30.
Oh, that is brilliant.
30 all.
Well, Martin's such a calm man. Look how he deals with this difficult miss-hit return.
And again to the feet of the server, forcing the error to produce the first set point.
Creation of ball's good. Deuce.
Immediate overrule from Jerry Armstrong. Tim Henman may not like it, but there was certainly a puff of white. Let's look at this for ourselves. Which side of the line did it bounce? But it seemed to me to hit the centre line.
Advantage, Martin. Game, Martin. Five games all.
So each man now has benefited from an overrule. And Martin came through that test with flying colours.
Love 15.
Good volley.
15 all.
5 all, love 15. And against a return like that, that was a fine first volley.
Classic backhand volley by Henman there.
Yes, the sun is fitfully appearing. It makes the toss difficult from this end. Brilliant return. That's where he's so dangerous.
30 all.
Uncompromising. Taking the ball with two hands there, blocking it back, using the server's pace. Very courageous second serve. He went for it, practically hit the line. Well played.
Henman leads 6 games to 5, first set.
Well, the crowd now appearing in numbers. It was half empty when we began at 11, unusually early, but they're getting now into the feeling of this match, and I have a suspicion that more and more noise is going to help Henman more and more.
Yes, when he had that set point, of course, the volume around this court went up enormously, and such a pity for him that that overall, at such an important stage in this match where the match is so finely poised and both players are trying to gain some confidence, but full marks really to Jerry Armstrong. It's courage on his part to take the initiative. He's overruled on 2 occasions, and I think quite correctly, and on both occasions they were quite important occasions. Highly experienced official, handling the match extremely well.
Time.
Now Tim Henman was successful on the last service game when his returns were low and lifeless over the net. He's got to take the speed off the ball and try and get it at the feet of Martin.
Now Martin's turn to serve with the sun full in his eyes.
Well, again, a ball with not a lot of life,
Love 15.
and takes Martin out of court, opening it up for the pass.
Out. 15 all.
Henman standing well back even for the second serve.
Fifteen 30.
So unable to control the lifeless ball that Mark Cox was describing.
Out. 30 all.
Ah,
40 30.
and they both know the importance of that rally. Good volley in the circumstances. And Henman just too rushed to make his pass.
Go!
Deuce.
And almost for the first time, he's really punished a second serve.
Well, his forehand return is a real cracker. Right out of the centre of the racket. Exploding down the line. So, second set point for Tim Henman.
Good serve.
Deuce.
Searching tests these for Martin, and he's coming through them well.
Advantage Henman.
Well, we talk a lot about pressure in tennis matches. Here's another moment of pressure for Todd Martin.
Deuce.
He's got a problem now. Is he going to serve to the forehand again and risk having one of those flashing passes down the line?
Well, tremendous play by both, and Henman particularly managing to control that, but that is the shot. At full stretch, tremendous. Look how he urges himself there to just get his racket on the ball and controls it. What an important point.
Net, first service. Martin.
Great competitor that he is, Martin comes through.
6 games all, first set, tiebreak.
Well, that was competitive tennis at its very best.
Henman to serve.
3 set points in all he's saved. The tiebreak.
Martin.
Both men suffering a little bit from tension. The forehand volley just now of Henman's, rather like this forehand volley of Martin's, too deliberate. A little bit of inhibition.
Two-one, Martin.
Great battle for ascendancy going on right here.
Ah! 3-1, Martin. Martin. Martin.
Well, he'll have to ponder that missed forehand volley on the change of ends, but at least he's going down to the favourable end for servers, where the sun won't be a problem. 4-2.
Five-two, Martin.
That's the sort of point that Henman needs at this stage. He
5-3,
comes in
Martin.
and a well-placed, soundly hit volley. Look at this, very firm.
Yes, nice touch.
Five-four, Martin.
Well, you never know at this game. He was well behind in his tie-break against Kafelnikov, the first one. Oh, that'll do nicely.
Well, rising to the occasion yet again. Henman, look at the return. It's a shortish volley down the middle, and he capitalizes. 5-all.
Great serve.
6-5, Martin.
So having saved 3 set points, the first set point for Martin.
Set, Martin. 7 games to 6.
That first set, which took just 56 minutes, was a set of lost chances for Henman, particularly early on. And in life, you have to take your chances when they're presented, as he's done quite magnificently these championships, but not today.
No, he had 6 of the service games in the first set on Todd Martin. They went the distance well introduced with Henman. In fact, Henman won most of his service games with comparative ease. But the first serve percentage really has the key to this. It started off with Martin down at one stage at 10%, and he's gradually climbing up. Henman, on the other hand, was into the 70s, is now down to 56%. So Tim Henman, for the first time really in the entire championships, has not been able to capitalize on the opportunities that he's created. He had 3 set points there, a little unlucky on the first one, remember, when the call was overruled for an ace. Now this is really going to be a test of how well he can come back.
Second set, Martin to serve. first service. Fifteen love. $30 love. $40 love.
Must have hit the line, I think. There was no bleep from the line monitor.
Game, Martin. First game, second set.
Well, Todd Martin has proved, you know, in Davis Cup ties that he's the man for the moment. And certainly in that first set, he was the one under terrific pressure, not just from Henman's excellent play to create those 3 set points, but from the crowd and the circumstances, taking on the whole of Britain practically today on American Independence Day. But how well he came through. And his serving is getting better by the game.
He's actually a deceptive player, and I think he must be very difficult to play for the simple reason that he gets a lot of weight behind his shots, particularly on his serve, but also his ground strokes. And one senses with Tim Henman that he's struggling to control this weight that he's generating, particularly on his forehand. He's a little bit late. He's not able to meet the ball in front as he would like, and he's always, Tim Henman, having to strain. And this is affecting his timing.
$15 love. $30 love.
No, he's missed it.
30-15.
Gets caught by surprise. A fine half volley by Tim Henman. There, the ball in his body. He didn't expect Martin to get the ball back.
$40-15.
So at least still reacting very fast. Well, the luck does play a
14,
part
13.
often in matches. And certainly that one of the luckiest of returns off the frame. Can't any longer say off the wood like we used to.
Look how low the return is from Martin. He does well to dig it out, but way too short.
Advantage Henman. Game Henman. One game all.
Still a little blustery and chilly when the sun is not out.
Love 15. All. 30-15. $40-15. $40-30. Deuce.
I think surprised by the improvised return straight off Henman's body. All he could do was prod it back.
Advantage Martin. Deuce.
Oh, well left.
Advantage, Martin.
And a little bit of a sigh of relief. You have to make those decisions instantaneously.
Game, Martin. Ball change, please. Martin leads 2-1, second set, by 1 set to love.
And signs for me, Mark, that Henman is showing the weight of national expectation on his shoulders again. Not quite the fluent player that he was in other matches, but then we've been expecting an awful lot of him, the media.
Yes, I'm sure he does feel as though he's got the weight of British tennis on his shoulders. And there's no question about it that he's inhibited today. You've only got to look at his face to see that there is strain, and his shots are not flowing as they have done throughout the tournament. Not surprising, though. And he can't be expected to play perfect tennis every time he comes out onto the court. And I know they've tried to shield, that's David Felgate, has tried to shield Tim Henman from the national hype, really, which has been unbelievable. And difficult that must be, because inevitably people will be coming around Tim Henman all the time saying how well he's doing, and even if he's not reading the newspapers and things of that kind, he must be beginning to get excited about his own performance. Needs actually is a couple of games where he plays a few confidence boosting shots, and so that he can forget himself and start to play tennis and start to focus his mind on beating his opponent.
Love 15.
Yes, he was caught.
Love 30.
Thought the first one was a winner.
Fifteen, 30.
Very quick, Henman, particularly
30 all.
dealing with that shot. Not an easy one, it's a high one. He has to use quite a lot of wrist to control that one.
Out. 30, 40. Deuce.
Again, slightly mishit. That could so easily have been in. The break of serve.
Advantage Henman. Deuce. Advantage Henman. Deuce.
Too many are coming back. And he's playing against a man who's keeping the pressure on him admirably. Martin, a method player. Just as well that that didn't come over, I think.
Advantage Henman.
Little slip. There he goes. There's the ball that might have come across the net. Scrambled to get it, and down he goes. They wear shoes with pimple rubber soles for grip. Good serve.
Game Henman. Two games all.
Henman trying to cheer himself up, and Martin, well, he's just going on in his own serene way. What a calm man he is. And one of the most likeable fellows on the tour. 2-2 second set.
$15 love. First service. $15 all. $30-15. $40-15.
Sure, Alan Mills is mightily relieved, just a glance at the sky there, that play is continuing. Well served.
Game Martin. Martin leads 3-2, second set, by 1 set to love.
One must not underestimate, Mark, how well Todd Martin is playing. He has a method, he is a percentage player, and he does it very, very well.
This is certainly not a flamboyant player, but you're absolutely right. He doesn't give his opponent any chances. He keeps the ball deep all the time. He's now getting a lot of first serves into play. He's putting the pressure on his opponent. He's making Henman all the time go for something, I think, a little bit beyond what he really wants to go for. But he's also, I think, how calm he is. He's shown no sign of emotion in this match at all. He just almost ponderously goes on, almost like a robot. Intimidating to play, difficult. He's constantly moving forward. But our compliments really to him, the way he manages to control that ball, doing nothing outlandish at all. So the score 2-3, second set.
Love 15. Love 30. Oh. 15-30.
Well, Henman was a little lucky. It was a fine return of serve. And he did so well to get it as deep as he did.
All.
Gets down to that one and places it perfectly. He's come back from love 30 this game. Now 30 all.
Out. 40-30. Game Henman. Three games all.
So Henman doing well to come back from love 30, but it's quite evident that his own serve has fallen away a little. Only 58% of first serves in. He's been passed now by Martin, who we thought would improve from a rather dismal start he made, being as low as 10 at one stage.
Love 15.
Well, Henman anticipates this overhead so well. Unfortunately, went cross-court. If he'd only gone down the line.
(30-15).
That was a brilliant touch from Henman.
These are the sort of shots here that Henman has to play. These low balls with very little speed and pace. Martin has difficulty moving to those.
(40-30).
Well, how well he handles that half volley. Disheartening for Tim Henman, that one.
Game, Martin. Martin leads 4-3, second set, by 1 set.
So there is the present situation. Martin as solid as a rock, tested superbly by Henman's flashing returns and passes, but coming up with the half volleys and the saving shots. And it's interesting, Mark, to see where the points for both men are coming from.
Yes, this is, I think, to emphasize, it's the way the points are won, where they're won. And let's have a quick look at the net. Martin 25 to Henman's 13. There's a huge discrepancy in the baseline. Henman's having to do too much work from the back of the court. 31 winners to the baseline of 13 for Martin. Serve 33 for Martin, 23 for Henman. So the match really being won from the forecourt by Todd Martin. Somehow Henman has got to get into that territory. Being severely tested, Martin. One feels that if only Henman could just get a little bit of a break, the whole match could very much go in his favour firmly. 3-4.
Love 15.
Well, I suppose the
Ladies and gentlemen, play is suspended.
Yes, I was just about to say the inevitable has happened. The rain, which threatened earlier, has finally arrived. And the team will be out to bring the cover across the court. So the players will have to leave the court. Another frustrating moment. Yesterday, remember, they spent the whole day here at the club waiting. Would they play or not? And I suppose we have to ask ourselves, is this going to help? Thumping the face of his racket in frustration at the pace and accuracy of these Martin serves. It's the power that's doing the damage.
(40-15). Martin leads 5-4, second set, by 1 set to love.
Well, Martin has started impressively, or restarted impressively. He is a tough customer.
Yes, his level of play really hasn't varied, but the weather really is difficult for the players. It's a real test of their concentration. They have to really put this out of their minds if they possibly can, but the constant interference really has to undermine them just that little bit. And there's, as we can see, the umbrellas are going up. The ground staff actually are gathered at the back of the court, poised to come onto the court to pull the cover on. Hardly enough rain though at this stage. It's tantalizing for the referee, Alan Mills.
Time.
So they're allowing play to continue. And Tim Henman looking just a little bit more relaxed now. We had a wry smile from him the game before last. Faces another tough game. 4-5.
Out.
15 love. Love.
Because that sort of rally can do wonders for confidence.
Love.
Didn't hear the call. Todd Martin did and stayed there. Little bit of a niggle with the umpire.
5 games in.
Now the crowd are beginning to get into this match.
Well, this is a shot which is going to bring the cheers. That's a lovely shot and a little skip from Henman. Yes, there we are. Yes.
$15 all. $30-15.
Well, very solid play here by Martin. Bit of slide on that volley, and he does well to dig out, apart from that passing shot.
40-30. Martin leads 6-5.
Well, once again, he comes through a difficult moment so well, Todd Martin. He hasn't put a foot wrong. He's had all those games. There were 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first set, where he was break point down at least once on his serve. There were 2 set points included there, and yet every time he's come through.
Yes, rock solid. But I think there are signs here that Tim Henman is playing very much better than when he departed for the break. He's certainly very much more positive. There's a little bit of spring in his step. His ground strokes have a little bit more penetration. The ball's going lower over the net. At this point, though, Martin is certainly rising to the occasion. But Henman really now looks as though, with a little bit of luck, he could turn this match in his favour.
So the pensioners are here, as they always are. Delightful sight, and how they enjoy their annual visits to Wimbledon.
Time. Love 15.
And the Duchess of Kent has arrived here to see the fun. No call.
Love 30.
A misjudgment. And he was right on that ball. The rule is that if you know you can kill the ball, then kill it.
Oh. 15-30.
Yes, well played.
All.
So here is a crucial moment.
(40-30).
And these sort of matches are always decided by the tiniest of margins. Henman keeping that half volley so beautifully low.
Game Henman. Six games all, second set tiebreak.
And what a courageous second serve that was. Hit the line, forced the error from Martin's racket.
Martin to serve.
And it's Martin to open his tiebreak.
1-0, Martin.
Clever shot.
2-0, Martin.
And so quick to take advantage there. Martin seeing Henman's nose right over the net. A quick change of the angle of the racket face, lifting the ball.
.3-0, Martin.
So this is where experience is so important, making his opponent play the ball on those crucial first service points in the tiebreak. 3-love.
Ah! 4-0, Martin. Martin.
So an even better start to this tiebreak than in the first set, where he led 4-1 and then 5-2, finally winning it 7-5. Love 5.
Martin.
And you have to hand it to Martin, the way he's forced his winners against a slightly hesitant Henman.
Martin.
So the miss-hit return of serve was a very difficult question for him. He couldn't answer it, and Martin now has 5 set points.
Martin.
Fourth double fault, perhaps signalling that he's not as calm as he looks. That'll do.
And second set, Martin. By 7 games to 6. Martin leads 2 sets to 0.
Well, you have to admire the thorough professionalism of Todd Martin in both tie-breaks. He hadn't really put a foot wrong.
No, he hasn't, and it wasn't as though Henman gave it away. He rose to the occasion, and that really has been the feature of this match. This man here has just taken the opportunities. It's not as though Henman has not had the opportunities. He's had 5 chances to break the serve. We've had, in fact, not had 1 break of serve in the match so far. I think it's true to say, though, the luck has favoured Henman a little bit. If we reflect a little bit on the first set, it was an overrule at set point for Henman, and then the miss-hit return in that tie-break. He certainly hasn't had things going for him at all.
Third set, Henman to serve.
So Henman to open the third set.
Love 15. Fifteen all. Thirty 15. Out. 30 all. Let. First service. 40-30. Game Henman. Ball change, please. New balls.
Well, a fine start. Still neither man has lost his serve. But what Mark Cox has Henman to do if he's going to win this match from this 2 sets to love down?
Well, I think he's got to play like he played a little bit in that last game there, and he was really opening his shoulders. He was going for his shots. He's got to play as a reflection of himself, and I think he's been too self-conscious today, and understandably so. But he is a courageous man, this, and 18 months ago he broke his foot, and then he came back. He worked hard. He's been working incredibly hard over the last 18 months, building up his body. He's improving all the time. He's a fighter. He has great belief in himself. I believe he can stay out. He has the ability to turn this match around. And the spectators just anxiously hoping that Henman can get a lead so that they can support him.
Fifteen love. Fifteen all.
Well, I wonder if the double fault was induced, perhaps a little water in the eye. It's drizzling again quite hard. Alan Mills is there.
Ladies and gentlemen, play is suspended.
Well, I was fearing that announcement. What are his matches except the first? He's had interruptions against. And I'm also wondering whether we'll ask this gentleman to sing us a song like Cliff Richard did yesterday, sitting there with the Duchess of Kent, Placido Domingo. He might be put to work later. Somebody had better warn him. But against Sapsford, he had to come back. Very awkward moment at 5 all in the second overnight. Against Luke Milligan, he had a similar stoppage. And against Gustafsson, well, what, 5 or 6 interruptions when he had to play on Monday. So he's trained for the moment, and even Martin has had a little bit of the experience of starting and stopping. It was against Johansson that he had to come back overnight.
2 minutes.
And we can speculate endlessly about who it's going to affect the most and the least, but I suspect that Henman wants to prove something. I think he knows that he hasn't really done himself quite justice today.
Yes, I think also now that he's 2 sets behind, he really, can go for it and see what he's made of. I don't think the notions of winning, which obviously he clearly wants to do, that is now a little bit more in the distance, and so he can play each point as it comes. I think we'll find him playing much more relaxed tennis. Indeed, I thought at the end of the second set he was playing very much better after the first break. And realistically, of course, he's done so well anyway. He's got the experience of getting through to this stage. That always will be with him. He's played some superb tennis. He knows how well he can play. And the progress is very consistent with him.
So Todd Martin, who's played this match most professionally, started it serving very poorly for him and didn't get very many first serves in for most of the first set, but Henman was unable to capitalize on that, partly of course because the second serving was so powerful. And if I could make a generalization about this match, it is that this fellow's power, pace of shot, heaviness of shot has overwhelmed Henman or forced him into error at moments in the match which were important.
Time ready for play. Balls in, please.
And it makes you realize that good as he is, and he's improved hugely in the highest class, he is still a little bit of a lightweight. His serve certainly is now a great shot and has improved perhaps more than any aspect of his game, but he relies on his timing, taking the ball early, and his wonderful hands to create the pace and power, whereas a player like Martin and others in the upper reaches of the game are able to generate pace and power with strength and weight of body. And these now will be the match balls. When they come out, they're given a set of balls similar to the ones that were in play during the match, but then when play is resumed they revert to the match balls. So the score.
Todd Martin leads by 2 sets to love. Third set, Henman by 1 game to love and 15 all.
From our umpire, Jerry Armstrong.
.30-15. .40-15.
Good example there, you see, having to rush that shot from the excellence of the first volley. A lot of wind blowing the dust off the surface of the court about.
Game, Martin. One game all.
So again, Martin, thoroughly professional, doing exactly what he had to do to bring himself level. Hardly put a foot wrong. But neither man yet has lost his serve.
Love 15. 15 all. $30-15.
Beautifully played.
Henman really makes this half volley a difficult shot look so easy, and the placement right in the corner.
Let's first service. Two games to one, third set. Martin by 2 sets to love.
No question that he was very relaxed in that service game, and I think perhaps you're right. I think he's realised nothing to lose now. Let's go for it.
Yes, and really that's how he's played most of the tournament. He's played with every new match being a new experience, and has progressed within himself throughout the match. Of course, it is difficult for him. One can't now exclude from one's mind that the thoughts have been, well, is he going to be the next player to win the Wimbledon Championship after Fred Perry? And wherever he has gone over the last few days, people must have been badgering him with that prospect, and seeing also the fact that Pete Sampras, the #1 seed, the champion, 3 times winners, 2 sets to love down, who's on the match that follows this. There is a certain sense sometimes that destiny is taking over, and this, I think, perhaps has contributed to the fact that Tim Henman has been perhaps looking outside of this match rather than within it, and he's got to focus single-mindedly on this game alone.
Love 15.
Hit very few unforced errors today. Well, Delena Mulcahy is already here, Sampras' girlfriend, so she'll be watching Pete. Ironic, isn't it, that yesterday it was Sampras out here with Krajicek, while Henman and Martin waited all day long, and today it's the reverse.
30-15.
Perfect. Going for the lines.
40-15.
Been quite fearless today.
Martin.
Helped by the net, but even so, I think it would have been a winner.
2 games all.
So he hasn't wavered at all. 4 times in that opening set in 4 different service games. He was break point down, saved the lot, including 2 set points.
Love 15.
is exactly 2 hours old.
Love 30. Love 40.
Again, the heavy return of serve doing the damage.
Fifteen 40. .40.
Brilliant.
Martin. Martin leads 3 games to 2, third set, and by 2 sets to love.
And what a contrast. The moment he has half a chance, he leaps upon it to score the first service break of the match.
Yes, if we reflect on the match in total with this man here, he really hasn't put a foot wrong. He's taken most of the opportunities that have come to him, and that last point, really, the serve from Henman was not that bad, but he was certainly of a mind to hit it hard with his favoured double-handed backhand. And the difficulty for Henman is the fact that this man really has not given him anything to fuel his own confidence. It's been an uphill struggle right from the word go. In fact, when we think back to even the first point, I think the first 2 points of the match, there were 2 resounding returns from Martin, and he really put his marker down at that point.
Nor has he let this crowd get into the match at all. He's been absolutely solid from the start. 3-2.
Love 15. $15 all. $30-15.
I hardly dare to mention it, but there are spots of rain falling. Oh, lucky it was in.
He deserves a little bit of luck. At full stretch, he manages to get the ball back, and this shapes up for this backhand. Just clips the top of the net, but it was going to be a winner.
No, too late.
40-30.
Time and again, that sort of situation has happened. With Martin's speed of shot and placement, beautifully deep, that one, forcing the errors.
From within the body, he manages to return the ball. It's fairly high. Martin really should have put that ball away, and Henman took his chance.
Advantage, Martin. Martin leads 4-2.
And what a professional point from Todd Martin there. The first volley landing right in the corner. It's raining quite steadily.
Player suspended.
Yes, I thought so. Can you believe it? The most frustrating of days. But there's nothing to be done except cover the court as fast as possible, for all the reasons you already know. And one can feel sympathy for everybody concerned. For the players, of course, for the spectators who have come so far, waiting overnight in the queues, some of them, and for the ground staff, and for everyone concerned with the tournament. So he's in a spot of bother now, a breakdown in this third set, and he still hasn't been able to break the Todd Martin serve, and I can't help thinking what a change would have happened in this match if he had taken one or two of those opportunities that he had early on.
Well, yes, of course, if only he'd managed to secure the first set, this whole thing would have been totally different, and it would have given the crowd here, who could be such a vital weapon for Tim Henman, to actually get behind Henman and really have an impact upon Todd Martin. The remarkable thing is that Todd Martin is how well he's been able to control himself.
The scoreline might be different, but as it is, 2 sets down, 2-4, and serving.
$15 love. $15 all. $30-15.
And that was Henman's 50th ace of these championships.
$30 all. $40-30. Deuce.
I think what luck there has been today is generally run in the Americans' favour. It's often the way the man who is hitting the ball lower over the net and going for the lines more gets apparently a little more luck.
One of the best passing shots we've seen from Todd Martin in the entire match, this cross-court shot. It's his racket back early and whips the ball cross-court, leaping, regain balance. Break point.
Deuce. Advantage Henman.
Well played.
Martin leads 4 games to 3, third set by 2 sets to love.
Well, such an important game, that last game, for Tim Henman to hold on to his serve, because it would have, I think, been certain defeat. But whilst he still stays in this match, there's hope. And how well he plays on this point, because he really was under pressure. A good fierce forehand, but look at this forehand, a rip up to the backhand side. That is a confidence boosting shot, the sort of shot we've seen so much of Tim Henman throughout the championships, but not so much today. And looking in quite a relaxed mood now, which is very much an important thing for him to be nice and calm.
Time.
And that might have some effect on his opponent, Todd Martin. He hasn't faltered in this match at all. But it's times such as this that a player can be frail.
$15 love.
No sign of frailty at all from Martin, dispatching this forehand volley, finding the angle.
And as good a return as Henman has hit.
30-15.
All to go for. And it's raining again. Can you believe it?
$40-15. Second service. Okay, Martin.
A wonderful point all round.
Into the net very quickly for a big man. That half volley, perfectly timed. Henman just manages to scoop it up.
Unfortunately, play is suspended yet again.
Well, look at this. I can hardly believe what I'm seeing yet again. The rain falls and the covers will be out in just a moment.
Poor old Tim, when he comes out again, he'll be serving to stay in that match. Well, now...
Broken for the first time in the match. 2 more interruptions for rain followed, but in the play that was possible, Henman couldn't break back. So at 5-4, Martin serves for the match.
$15 love. Let. First service. $30 love. $40 love.
Very professionally played game, this. 3 match points. That's it.
And set a match, Martin.
I think by the scoreline and only 1 service break in the whole match, it was a close run thing. I had my chances, but couldn't quite take them.
You mentioned the chances. Obviously, you'll be talking about the first set, 3 set points, and an overall on 1.
It was called in. That's the end result. It was the first serve that he hit up the middle, and I think it probably was in. So I don't think I have too many complaints.
But you seem to be playing the better tennis in the first set.
I think, yeah, I created more chances on his serve, but on those key points, you know, he was able to come up with the big first serves. And once we got to the tie-break, I didn't play the best of tie-breaks, but you know, that's your penalty shootout.
It certainly breaks for the rain. Did that disrupt your concentration?
It's not easy, definitely. I said earlier I felt like I should have won the tournament the number of times I've knocked up on centre court. But having said that, it's the same for both players. So I think we eventually finished off at our 5th attempt.
I think Tim's a great player, and can only expect better things from him in the future. And hopefully he'll have another opportunity like this in the future and capitalize on it.
What do you think he might achieve in the game, having played him the way you did today?
I'm not in the business of making predictions. I just think he's going to be successful, and he's going to enjoy a great career, and hopefully the British fans will enjoy it with him. I
think my life's changed. Hopefully I won't change, but as I said, it's something that I've been very pleased with the way I've played over the last 10 days, and hopefully it's not my last successful Wimbledon.
We hope so too. He certainly proved here, though, that he's a big match player. We wish him well. Of course, next stop for Tim is Ghana. We wish the team the best of luck in that important Davis